Hello and welcome to the Books Crypto Club catch-up on Zoom. This is a weekly call that we have where we talk about blockchain, cryptocurrency, DeFi, NFTs, and anything else that's in the crypto world that's happening and is of interest in some way. So I hope you really enjoy this. Don't forget to click on the subscribe button, press the like, click on that reminder button, make some comments in the YouTube channel. Or even better, come along to a future event. We meet every Sunday evening on Zoom. I'm sure you can find the details pretty easily. So let's see who we've got who's joining us today and what we're going to end up talking about. Sam, hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
I certainly can. Yeah, makes a nice change from me having to say you're on mute because you're not.
I do learn eventually.
We'll get there. I think 2020, the phrase to use was you're on mute, and then 2021 was can I share my screen? So it's a standard kind of thing. I'm sure you've seen that as well. So how's your world of crypto this week?
Well, god damn, it's a good time to be in crypto. That's what I can say.
Yeah, but Bitcoin's
been good.
Yeah, I was looking at earlier. The Bitcoin price has gone up quite nicely. Looks like the rest of the market's followed suit. Lots of green. And yeah, it's been another wild ride, I think.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of my friends, I said, look, if you want to get in, not financial advice, of course, but time to get in is now. I said, it's like, it's as easy as kicking a ball into an open goal, you know? So you just got to kick the ball through the net, at least put 500, 1,000 in, into Cardano, ADA. I said, with smart contract utility and the supply shock afterwards, you're looking at it's such an easy way of gaining money. Like, why wouldn't you do it?
It's certainly interesting. Cardano stroke ADA is one I think a few of us have been watching for a while and been saying about how it is that it's got some amazing capabilities in the future, some great developments coming on. So it was one of those ones you would expect at some point to rise in price. And I think this week it's had quite a good week, if I remember correctly. So maybe that's just the start of its journey.
I've been watching a lot of if I'd known about Cardano like 6 months before, the return I would have got would have been in the hundreds of thousands because I would have put a significant amount of money into it. But if I'd heard of Charles Hoskinson and seen, he's just inspired so much belief, and the community, the marketing they've done has been excellent. I can't think of a business which I've ever seen roll out so well. They've got they've convinced people. People are so maximalist about Cardano. The amount of it that is staked is ridiculous. 73% of ADA is staked. There's no other cryptocurrency like it. It's the belief in its third generation ability to supplant Ethereum and Bitcoin as the world's major blockchain. I mean, whether you believe it or not, there's a lot of belief out there, and there's people literally putting their money where their mouth is. There's people putting their life savings, taking out their mortgages. There's so much money that has been just pumped into ADA by, I wouldn't say average Joes, but not the big institutions have just started to get in, but seriously popular.
Well, I'm just looking at the graph at the moment, so I'll probably try and share it, but it looks like it has had a massive uplift. It's kind of doubled in price in the last 24 hours. It's doubled in price in the last month. Sorry, that was wrong. It's actually dropped a few percent in the last few hours. But yeah, it certainly looks one definitely that has turned out to be as good as it was claiming to, and hopefully there's a lot more to go there as well.
Well, that's just one of its manifestations. What they've also really done is develop these sister companies, and I think it was Fernando that made me first aware of it, and it's World Mobile Token.
Yep.
Look at that, yeah. It's certainly that's very good growth, and it held out very well. Sorry to be ADHD and go back to it, but looking at your graph, it held out very well during the Bitcoin bearish 50% correction.
Yeah, so, the one to be aware of in the last 24 hours though is it does seem to have settled down somewhat, and it's decayed away. So maybe it was like just a nice bubble for a while. That, as you know, as you can see, it's like absolutely rocketed. Kind of interesting. James, hello. We're just talking about Cardano at the moment and ADA.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, fantastic. A very good evening to you both. Yeah, no, Cardano is a very, very, very interesting coin, and that's great to see. The long-term graph there. That's really interesting. Is that over a year? I take it.
That one's the 1 year graph. So as Sam says, you know, the entry at like 15 cents a year ago, and now we're talking 220 or 210, I think it is.
Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. It's just that whole thing of trying to find the next one that's going to do that. And if anyone knows, then that would be lovely. But it's so difficult, isn't it? Sometimes with crypto, but it's a good. Is it quite a big market cap or?
It's fairly substantial. I was just looking for the market cap at the moment, actually. I was just going to pull up the overall status. We took a look at market cap 67 billion. Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is great. This is the crazy world of crypto. You never know whether you're talking million, billion, or trillion these days. But market cap's another interesting point, actually, talking a more general thing, that I think the crypto market did pass through 2 trillion earlier on this week. It's dipped a little bit down again at the moment. But yeah, so that shows that it is gradually growing and growing. And 2 trillion is still peanuts compared to, you know, some of the major stock exchanges, that kind of thing. But 2 trillion is also significantly larger than most American companies. So it's kind of getting there.
Back to the market cap. With ADA, it's a different situation, because unlike most crypto coins, ADA, 73% of it is staked. So when these smart contracts roll out, there will be a supply shock. There will be a supply shock, and that supply shock will make that price balloon. It's just in time for the bull run. Charles Hoskinson has designed this perfectly for the maximum amount of exposure. It is going to skyrocket. I'm definitely well above $5. I'm not going to go moon boy and say over 10. I'm expecting between 5 and 10, nudging towards the 10.
Okay.
It's looking extremely bullish, very positive. Every single different technical analysis, Coinbase, Cointelegraph, everything I'm reading, I'm talking good quality YouTubers, not like.
Yeah. And that's ADA, is it?
They're completely bullish on ADA. Like, I'm seeing what's his name? Coin Bureau was saying he wouldn't be surprised by $5, but he's very conservative in his estimations. Big Boy is saying $10, so I'm going to think it's got to be between the two. But there's another really good guy called Satoshi Stacker, and he's a very good technical analyst, and he's thinking it's going to go near towards $10. The supply shock, because there's so much at stake, there just won't be enough for the dApps and the DeFi. That's going to run out.
Because that's interesting. I didn't realise that the way they were doing it, so much was going to be locked up. Because the other one that I thought was going to be interesting this week was Ethereum, with the implementation of the London upgrade last week, which now sees an element of the ETH being burned every time there's a block. So it's kind of a way of decreasing the availability of Ethereum. And initially that started leading to quite an interesting rise. But it seems to have suddenly flattened out totally. Again, I'll pull the screen up on that. It's worth looking at. So it looks like we don't offer recommendations on this group, but looks like ADA's got at least another 100% growth potential and possibly significantly more, which is quite nice. But the Ethereum charts, just looking at it at the moment, over the last week, It has been growing, quite healthily from 2,900, peaked out at around about 3,300. So a nice few percent here. But I just noticed just lately it seems to have settled out somewhat and decayed away in price. I don't know if anyone's been looking at
that previous graph, just from a TA analysis, very basic. There's a massive head and shoulders there, absolutely huge. But
what's that? This one?
Yeah, but you can see that before it goes down. You can see that's a huge head and shoulders right there. But, the thing is, this is to be expected. Like with Bitcoin going like basically parabolic. If you look at the gains in Bitcoin over the last couple of weeks, it's just insane how much it's actually gone up so quick. And so you're going to have to get a correction or retracement of about 10 to 15%. Sunday started at the weekend. There was going to be a Sunday sell-off at some point, and I think the market needs a bit of cooling off after the amount of growth that has just exploded, and then it will last about a couple of days a week, and then cracking on back on with the bull run again. I think that's my estimation of things. I can't see this bull run slowing down, unless we get some seriously bad news, and it seems that everything's been manipulated for this time.
Yep. Yeah. Well, it's just I'll pull up the Bitcoin chart as well, because that is quite interesting. That again, from last week, we've seen it kind of dropped away for a while, and then where are we here? So the end of July, it's gone into this just solid growth phase, which is quite interesting. It's unusual to see such a phase that is so solidly defined. Usually there's a bit more variability and ups and downs in that. And even the latest candles are within the green wicks, which means that it's still, if I remember correctly, that's still an upward trend. So again, it's at 46,000 at the moment, and looks like it's still got the potential to grow quite nicely from that.
Well, it's the golden cross, isn't it? When that golden cross comes, expect another pump, and then we could be breaking the 50, couldn't we?
So yeah, because we had I can't remember what the term is of what the opposite of a golden cross is, but we had that. But back in, what's the date on this one now? I can't even read that. Mid-May, which was where we saw this like drop away quite considerably, and then a flattening out period. And then since towards the end of July, 21st July onwards, we've just had this growth phase. So we should see, we've got the cross here, haven't we? There is this crossover between, is that the 20-day and the 200? I can't actually read it on my chart at the moment. But the cross there. But the problem with moving averages and these crosses is that they are moving averages of past prices. So they're not really indicators. They're, in a way, they're kind of like sentiment indicators, but they don't really mean that much apart from telling you what you already know, which is that it's in an upward trend.
Yeah, I was going to agree with that. From, and I think I've said this before, Gary, obviously been in crypto now quite a while, and for all the TA that I've seen and I've done, and it still seems to be that often it just doesn't behave in the way which normal markets would. And yeah, it's the one thing that I know about crypto is that I don't know. What I do know is when there's a bull run, because let's be honest, when things go up, they tend to keep going up, and when things go down, they keep going down. And that's very simplistic, but it is. I think sometimes we're just so desperate to be able to put the rules in place that can be seen with other markets. And more traditional markets, and put them in place within crypto. And often I personally just don't see a particular correlation. And I've desperately tried to see one, but I haven't.
Well, I think that's true. I've seen examples. In fact, there have been some big companies that have actually gone under, where they've tried to transition from being like algorithmic day traders on the FX side of things, so foreign exchange. And they've said, oh, yeah, well, this is just like foreign exchange, so we'll use the same methodologies and that. And I can't remember, there was quite a big, well-known, actually registered company about 4 or 5 years ago in the UK that did this. And ultimately, they discovered that, yeah, crypto follows traditional markets until it doesn't. And at the point at which it doesn't, that's where it behaves very, very differently indeed. And their algorithms just couldn't handle it. So I think the one trend that tends to still play true, and it's a general trend, it's not just about crypto, but you can use this for weather forecasting or for share prices, is that tomorrow is more likely to be like today than it isn't.
Yeah.
So kind of like let that settle down for a minute. So you think about the weather. Tomorrow, the weather is more likely to be like today's weather than not like today's weather, unless there's like a cold front coming in or a warm front or something. Typically, it tends to behave like that, except if you're in Nevada, where tomorrow will be exactly the same as today, and tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after. So we need a Nevada equivalent in crypto, something that's totally predictable. Or is that a stable coin?
I don't know. Like, if you look at previous bull runs, though, and you just look at the behavior of the markets, and then you get like is it 2017? And you just compare the Fibonacci's, and it's so similar. Every bull run has been so similar. Very little deviation between them, and just meet the Fibonacci sequences, and it seems a great predictor to me. Like, I mean, if this one's different, then I'll just have a load of egg on my face, won't I? But I'm trying to be conservative within crypto. I just invest in the biggest altcoins beneath Bitcoin, put quite a bit of money into them. I will be taking 60% of my money out at a certain time, which is well before the estimated ends of the bull run, just to be super safe.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to make a 2 to 3x on my original investment.
Yeah, and that's exactly the way to do it, isn't it? You know, it that kind of that self-discipline, you just see it so often that people don't have it. And you know, the whole kind of cheesy things of diversification, eggs and baskets and all that stuff, it applies to crypto just like anything else. And you know, when people sort of say to me, oh, you know, what should I go into, I just always say, yeah, Bitcoin, Ethereum, you know, the big ones. And, you know, if you get really into it, then a couple of altcoins that are right underneath them. Absolutely. I totally agree with you on that. Totally.
I think I was something as well on one of the forums during the week where someone was asking the question of, do all these altcoins basically follow the big players? So, you know, if Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, if they all go up, do all the altcoins go up as well? I think I put a comment on there that, yeah, they absolutely follow all the rest until they don't. And that's always a thing. So I think you're right, James, that there does tend to be that like general momentum or direction that I actually tend to tell people to stay away from a lot of the altcoins because it's not worth the effort of the extra monitoring and tracking of them. And I still track, you know, my portfolio, and I compare it to how well I would be doing if I just left everything in Bitcoin. And it still makes more sense to just have Bitcoin and nothing else.
Yeah.
Which is quite strange. You'd have thought these altcoins with the big leaps and everything would be worthwhile. But the problem is that I found is that by the time they get onto the radar of being in your top 20 or top 30 by market cap or by trading or whatever, they've probably already had their 10x moment. Yeah. And so what you find is that the bigger the market cap and the bigger the trading volume, the less variability and volatility there is. That's my experience, but you know, I'm guessing everyone's got their own views, their own experiences on that, and some may differ.
It's about early adoption, isn't it? Like if you can early adopt something, which you know is of good quality, and so I don't know. It's coming to these chats where I've had people say little things about something. I think it was Fernando that got me onto World Mobile Token.
Yep.
And I'm really glad I bought into that. And the thing is, I've put most of my excess amount of salary as a director of education in secondary school. I've put the most excess of that into crypto already.
Okay.
World Mobile, it's a sister company really of Cardano, and what they're looking to do is bring the internet to the internetless. So they're going into developing countries. They've already done it in Tanzania. They've had adoption there. You know what it's like when a company gets adoption in one country. It's like dominoes, and it goes on and on. So that before that token is available on exchanges, I've already got it, and I'm very, very happy that I have done so, because if I believe in Cardano, which I essentially do, then I believe in World Mobile Token, and Fulham Football Club, I've got them as their sponsor.
Okay.
So I was watching football on TV, and I just see World Mobile on their show. I can't tell how delighted I was to see, because I'm thinking, well, if that's on Fulham's quite a big London club, and if that's on their show, and that's everywhere, that's quite. That means that World Mobile has got some serious money behind them from venture capitalists.
Or they've got some marketing budget that are playing clever with it. Hey, I see Fazal's joined us. Hello, Fazal.
Hi, Gary. Hi. How you doing?
Hey, not too bad. You had some connection problems initially by the look of it, but you're with us now, which is great. Yeah. And we've got Vinod joining us as well. Hey. Haven't seen you for a few weeks, Vinod.
Yeah, a few months.
a few months, yeah. So those who've just joined, we've just been having a really interesting conversation about a couple of cryptocurrencies in particular. One was talking about Cardano, which seems to be beginning to deliver the price versus the promise in terms of the capability. And then linked in with Cardano is World Mobile Token. And this is something, I always say on these sessions, we don't offer recommendations or whatever, but that they are worth looking at type thing. And World Mobile Token, I'm not sure, what is the connection with Cardano, Sam? You know about that more, don't you?
From what I do know, so please forgive my modest knowledge, it's essentially, it's a sister derivative company of IOHK, Input Output Hong Kong. So basically Charles Hoskinson has got his finger in this pie, and they want to it's the same vision of going to developing. It's the Cardano Charles Hoskinson philosophy of going to developing countries, because that's where you're going to make the maximum gains, and unleashing the power of blockchain there. So if they've set up in Tanzania as a kind of like, I don't want to say dummy run, but as a guinea pig, that's maybe a better analysis. They're using blockchain technology to make the internet more widely available, because the internet they have in Tanzania is like extremely basic. You think of all the innovation which we know you can do on the internet, it sets up a kind of new economy. And you think, how many intelligent and great people have we got in these developing economies that can't access that? It just inhibits their economic growth. So World Mobile Token has recognized that 4 billion, they basically recognize there's a place in the market that 4 billion of the world population don't have access to the internet. They want to change. They're going to developing countries and they're doing it. So that's basically what I know. They're a sister company of Cardano and IOHK. They're using the same business strategy. They seem to have got a serious backing. And I've bought some tokens nice and early. And they're using the same marketing strategy of, instead of like just having a very centralized share bunch of people that own the shares, they offered it out to people like you and I. We could invest nice and early into it and have a stake in the company.
Because the token sale opened in July, didn't it? What I didn't realize is it closes in less than 24 hours. So that could make things very interesting indeed. But yeah, as you were saying before, they're getting lots of press, they've got sponsorship. They certainly seem to have some great ideas with as you say, providing internet access and banking, and lots more to like places in Africa and that kind of thing. It's curious as well. Relatively low max supply. Oh, I see. So they're launching with 2 billion, and then they'll open that up over the next 20 years. Okay, I was kind of curious on that.
No, the maximum is 2 billion. They're launching with 200 million.
Is that right? Okay, I'm with you. Yeah. I see. Yeah, so they're coming in with 200 million. That's interesting. Bernard, is this one that's been on your radar at all then?
No, totally new. I think Sam have, in the last meeting I attended, Sam may have mentioned this. I think I've heard this before in this meeting, but it's not something that I've seen before now elsewhere.
Okay, I think in fact Sam was saying it was Fernando, who's been on the call a few times, who was talking about this a few weeks ago.
Okay.
And he started flagging it up. So yeah, it's certainly quite interesting. But yeah, looks like a fascinating one. And as I say, for anyone who's watching this live or watching the recording soon after it finishes, then the opportunity to buy into this, and again, this is not a recommendation, is less than 24 hours away. So be very interesting to watch this one indeed, Sam.
Very convoluted to sign up, by the way. I'm sure there'll be another round of sales, but it took a very long time. You have to passport and bill, utility bills, etc., etc.
Okay.
And then you've got a vault, which has got a seed phrase, so you have to write it all down. It is very, very complex, and you have to have. And they don't accept money; they only accept crypto. You can only buy in crypto.
Okay.
You have to be quite well versed within your. I'm not saying anyone's. I don't know how new people are to crypto, but you basically have to send money from your wallet to their wallet of destination.
So it's going back to how ICOs worked in 2017, 2018, whereby you go and buy some crypto, typically Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then you go and use that to buy tokens through another wallet and that kind of thing. Say again, Fazal?
Sorry, I was just coughing. Sorry.
Oh, I thought you were about to make a groundbreaking announcement or something we really need to watch out on. But yeah, Sam, it does sound like it's the same thing as it used to be then. Like you go and buy some crypto and then use that to make the purchase of the token. So it'd be interesting to see where that goes, definitely. And as always, this is not a recommendation. Do your own research, blah, blah, blah. So,
do we, sorry, I was going to ask, do we know if their exchange is now live, Sunday Swap? Because they've got their own exchange now, haven't they? I think it's called Sunday Swap. It's a decentralized exchange for Cardano. It's a bit like the equivalent to Pancake Swap and Uniswap.
Okay.
It's called Sunday Swap. I think if you just Google it, you'll see it.
Is that Sunday as in the ice cream?
Yeah, as in the day, SUNDAY swap.
Oh, okay.
Guys, I'm gonna have to go, unfortunately, but really great chatting, and you all take care. Thanks so much.
Yep, James, see you around. Have a good one.
Cheers, bye.
So I just checked it. It is written Sunday as in SUNDAE.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking because everything to do with crypto these days has got to do with food. So you think about how you got pancake swap, sushi swap, all this kind of thing. So Sunday, just looking at it, there's some YouTube videos on it.
I think it was in some sort of beta testing at some point.
Yeah. I'm just having a quick look through now. In fact, I'll show the screen. That's probably the easiest way because many eyes type thing. So yeah, as you say,
I think it's this.
Yeah. Now, where have they got any dates on here? Roadmap 2021 Q3. Well, Q3 is kind of round about now.
Okay.
Because Q4 begins October, or usually it depends which accounting system they use. But do they have any dates? No, it doesn't look as though they have any specific dates on here.
Okay.
Maybe want to check into later on. Because the thing that does make me nervous when you buy into tokens, whether it's ICOs, STOs, or whatever, is the fact that there is a period where they're not listed on an exchange. And so it's kind of like a private members club type thing that you can buy these tokens, but you can only then sell them back to the firm you've bought them off, which means they could ultimately disappear overnight. I mean, admittedly, this group seems to have the credibility in the background, so they're not going to disappear overnight type thing. But I am always a little bit nervous about anything where it's not openly traded on exchange. But then equally, if you get in early on these things, when they do go onto the exchange, that's where they potentially get increase in value quite considerably. So one to watch out for them. So anyone got any other interesting things that they're watching at the moment or hearing about?
I was going to ask, we might be digressing a bit because I know Sam uses crypto.com, don't you, Sam?
Yeah. Quite a fan of it.
I've started you kind of getting into just using it more and more. And I noticed I moved some fiat into crypto.com. They don't charge you any fees because you're just moving it from your bank account to crypto.com. And then when you buy any crypto, they also don't charge you any fees. So I was like, hang on, there must be a catch somewhere. But then I found out it looks like their prices for Ethereum or any other coins is a lot higher than what BNB have it on their exchanges or other exchanges. Is that what you're finding?
My experience is slightly different. I have had fees, but maybe because you're purchasing fiat on there rather than crypto. I just buy crypto directly. So
but if you use your credit card, there's a 3% charge.
I don't use my credit card. I use my debit card.
So do they charge you for using your debit card?
All I know is that every time I buy on there is a fee, and it's according to how much I've purchased. So
but I'll tell you I'll tell you what's really good is their crypto card, their wallet, their Visa debit card, because you get 1% back of Crow tokens every time you use it. Which
I have heard that I've heard that the crypto.com card is very good. It's something I have applied for, but you have to wait a couple of months.
Yeah, I got mine last week, and you just use it, and you can actually load GBP onto there. Or if you've got some Bitcoin and you've sold it, you can move the proceeds onto the card and just use it like for shopping, and then in return you earn the equivalent to Binance token, Crow tokens. They just put that into your wallet, which is
Crow is one to watch. Crow is one to watch because crypto.com, where Binance has had so many problems, I think it's had a lot more adoption. It's also been advertising on UFC.
Yeah, they've done a lot. Yeah, even Formula One, they've been heavily.
Yes.
But I'm surprised it hasn't really it's still around the 15 cents mark. It hasn't really taken off since April, has it? The highest it's been is, I think it's 16, 17 cents.
It's getting staked more, definitely.
Okay.
What it just needs kind of wider adoption. It just needs some more wider adoption. But I've started to see people mention about staking it. You get a very high interest yield.
Yeah, they've got an app, the DeFi wallet, which you can then stake your crypto tokens and then put it in a pool for. So I don't know if you've had a chance to look at that as well. That's quite useful.
I have got an app on there. So I have got the wallet app, and I've used it.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, but that's what I've used to actually buy my World Mobile token from, because it was a lot easier than Binance. Binance was actually, as a user experience for someone that hadn't made a purchase on a wallet before, it was actually very tricky. Whilst crypto.com was so much more simplistic. So I've actually...
Yeah, but I think the criticism of crypto.com from a lot of Reddit groups is the hidden... like Binance is pretty cheap, their fees are, and with crypto.com, I think the fees are a bit higher. That's what I'm seeing from a lot of posts.
Yeah, they can be, and especially for trades as well, I think.
Yeah.
You certainly start to feel they don't want to do too many trades.
Yeah. The one to watch out for as well, and I don't know the difference between the two, is that you will get different services or exchanges that offer different fees. and some of them may have really attractive fees, but when you look at the prices that they're offering, that they're actually making it's like in a traditional share trading market, that they're making it on the spread.
Yeah, well, this is exactly the point I said, because when I looked at the cost of, say, Ethereum, it was $25-30 more than what it is to buy on Binance or Kraken. So I guess that's how they're kind of making their.
Yeah.
You noticed this. Is it Stuart? He comes on here quite a lot. He does a lot of technical analysis, and he was moving. Moving Ethereum and Bitcoin from crypto.com like into Binance or vice versa, and he was noticing he was getting more money when he was moving from crypto into his Binance. He was getting like $200 more for his Bitcoin. So when he was moving around, so these different exchanges have slightly different prices of Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I don't know why that is. But when you're moving it, even with the fees, when you're moving, you're actually getting more money by moving them through different exchanges.
You're right.
I think that might be just a timing thing, though. I had it where I met up someone for a coffee in local Starbucks, and just for a bit of fun as an experiment, we swapped. I think it was $10 of BSV, or was it BSV or Litecoin, or it was something anyway. It wasn't Bitcoin, but I just did it as the experiment. And you sent $10, and I think $11 arrived because the price had happened to change a little bit. And then when he sent it back to me, it came back as $12. And it was just because of the way the market was going. So it was just fortunate type thing. Rachel, hey, see you joined us. Sorry, didn't get to say hello straight away. How are you?
You're on mute.
Yeah, it takes me a while to turn it off. Good, thank you. I've just come back from holiday, so I'm probably going to be a bit quiet because I haven't really been thinking about crypto.
Oh, no problem. You've missed probably one of the most interesting conversations in quite a while, where we've been talking about various cryptocurrencies and tokens. So we've been talking about ADA, which has had a really good run. Bitcoin itself has been doing quite nicely of late. Ethereum's been doing quite nicely. Mentioned about there's a token that's launching at the moment, which is on pre-sale, but it goes live in less than 24 hours, which is World Mobile Token, which is linked to Cardano in some sort of way. And then we're just talking about crypto.com and accessing crypto and the various exchanges and the rates that you can kind of get. So it's one of those ones, because I constantly get asked by people, if I'm coming into crypto from afresh, how do I get into it? What wallet do I get? And which exchanges and that? And up till now, I've always said, just go and register with blockchain.com or crypto.com, Luno, or a couple of the other, or Binance, for the simplicity and for the ease of access. Unfortunately, Binance now is getting so difficult to actually get any money into Binance from a traditional fiat bank account. It's just getting harder and harder. So just talking about the various options there. So probably if you've had a week off and you've been away, then you'll probably find your portfolio's gone up quite nicely.
It was really frustrating because I was in a field camping with like virtually no technology whatsoever. And when my phone had batteries, which was quite rarely, I was charging it through my car. I kept seeing all this news about everything going up, and I couldn't check my portfolio or anything. So it's like super frustrating. But yeah, so hopefully it'll be a bit healthier.
Yeah.
What I was going to do, because last time I came, we were talking about the fees and which one was the cheapest if you're going to do day trading.
Yep.
And I can't remember what you said. Which one was the best?
I can't remember either. I've not been active for a little while, and I know these things do change quite rapidly. But I think Coinbase or Coinbase Pro have been mentioned before now. Binance.
Coinbase is really expensive. They charge you.
Is it?
But
their Coinbase Pro version equivalent, that's a bit cheaper. And I know Binance is definitely cheaper. Yeah, Binance is cheaper.
Okay.
I think I've opened Binance. I think they charge 50p or something really small amount.
Yeah, and plus if you hold the Binance token as well, you get 25% off.
Oh. That's
yeah, if you hold the Binance token, so.
Okay, so yeah, but Coinbase, you know, you lose money on Coinbase because you buy something and it takes a chunk off, and you're already in debt. So I'd rather go away from Coinbase.
Okay,
Gary, that was my.
I agree with what Faisal mentioned in terms of my experience. Binance was the cheapest for me. I've restricted to Coinbase Pro and Binance because of the recent Binance issue. I moved it to Coinbase Pro because of my other work. I don't have time to kind of use other exchanges and stuff, so I've just restricted to.
So
Coinbase
Vinod,
Pro.
this was my other problem because I got into crypto heavily using Binance, and they pulled the plug on GBP and all this stuff going on. So how are you?
Right.
I mean, how are you kind of putting fiat into Binance? Are you using your credit card, or are you buying tokens and moving them to Binance and trading?
The fiat access has always been through Coinbase or Coinbase Pro for me.
Oh, you're moving. Okay.
So I never directly put fiat to Binance ever. It's just crypto to Binance, and then I had some in my account which I just moved out
like
of.
a stable coin in Coinbase Pro and then move that across.
Stephen's doing it with Dogecoin. So Stephen comes on this chat quite a lot, and he does he does a lot of day trading, and he's doing it through his I think he's going through Revolut. So he's going through Revolut, buying euros. It sounds a bit convoluted, but he says it's effective on price, and he converts things into Dogecoin because Dogecoin has one of the lowest fees when you transfer it. So he transfers things from euros into Dogecoin. This is Dogecoin into Binance, and then buys things with Dogecoin. I think that's why.
Oh wow! That is a bit convoluted. Yeah, but I think he does a lot of technical analysis, so he must have worked it out.
He's a big TA guy, and he's like, you know, me. I just hodl and hodl.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
I'm doing a ball run.
We need him on the call.
Yeah. I know, he's really good. I love talking to him because I just think, you know, down the line when I'll get a bit more into it, and I'm not confident enough to do day trades yet, but he's definitely someone. I'm said, look, mate, just do some seminars. Like, you know, I pay 15 quid to listen to you talk for a couple of hours. Like,
yeah,
you know, I know you're legit because I talk to you every week. Why don't you do some seminars and teach people?
Because he's like I said, he's done a lot of the hard work to work out the best route. Because same here, I don't know the best route, you know.
He's making a good couple of K a week, I think, at the moment. Or like, you know, and he doesn't do leverage. He just does spot trading. So he really does seem like he knows what he's doing. I think he needs to like I'm not overconfident. He needs to get some stuff.
It's funny, isn't it? Because usually in crypto, the people who make the money are either the ones who are doing the active stuff and really monitoring it, really heavily into it, really tracking it, and really keeping a close eye on it, which is what he does, or the people who sell courses on how to do it. It's one or the other, and usually it's like the old joke about the San Francisco gold rush. That the way to make money wasn't to dig for gold; it was to sell pickaxes and maps.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
So I mean, I guess that's in fairness, that's my kind of domain. You know, that's why I get it so often these days. I get messages on Telegram and WhatsApp. I'm sure you all do as well, which start off with the hi, you know, from a complete stranger.
Yeah.
And then it's like, how are you? I'm fine. Oh, whereabouts are you? UK. Oh, I'm in. Choose any place on the planet type thing. And invariably, they're trying to sell you some sort of crypto type thing, which I find really funny because they ask the question of, do you know anything about crypto? And I go one of two routes. I either play dumb and say, oh, isn't that the spawn of the devil that the European Central Bank's trying to get rid of? Or what do you think about the EIP 1559 implementation last week on Ethereum? And how do you think that's going to do to a token burn? And it's really funny because
silence then probably.
Well, that's right. You never hear from them again, so it saves blocking them. But it does mean my friends list is growing at the moment, so I'm going to have to trim it at some point. But you're right. So you do get a lot of people who are trying to either sell you either how to make £1 million in crypto by selling you a course, or the pump and dump schemes of the join this group and we'll give you early alerts, which actually means that they'll give you alerts, but they'll give someone else alerts slightly earlier and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's an interesting space to be in. Oh, look, I thought we'd done an upgrade of Sam then.
Yeah, my daughter, she's gone in my bedroom, so I was in her bedroom.
I've got the opposite thing with my friends, all my friends and my social media contacts. I'm always putting stuff about crypto on there, and they're just like so massively skeptical. And like one lady said to me last week, an intelligent woman, she's got a PhD, she works at Oxford University. She went, Bitcoin, that's not real, it's just a scam. And I was like, no, it isn't. It's a perfectly legitimate form of currency, and it's going to be the future. And she was like, no, everyone's just, it's just a rip-off. It's just it's Ponzi scheme and all this stuff. And I was like, and I'm really shocked how many people just think it's really dangerous, or it's just a type of, you know, Ponzi type pyramid thing. Mm-hmm. So I think, you know, because my contact, because I'm not technical, as I explained last time, I'm not a technical person, so I think a lot of my contacts are not, but you know, this is kind of the general public. They think it's dodgy,
but in fairness, I get the same. I get the whole oh, I'm not getting into crypto because I don't understand it, and you go, okay, fair enough, I understand that. I presume you don't have a bank account then. What do you mean? A course of
or a mobile phone?
Yeah, do you understand how a bank account works? Well, yeah, of course I do. I put money in and I take. No, that's not how a bank account works. Let me explain to you how the SWIFT network works. Let me explain to you how real-time gross settlements work. Let me explain. And you realize very quickly, people who talk about crypto being a Ponzi scheme or a scam or whatever, they don't understand that actually they're right. And that's exactly the same as fiat money. Fiat money, £10 note or whatever, has got nothing behind it beyond the government with tanks and the army.
It's like we could say seashells on money, couldn't we? If everyone agreed that they would be, and then the big ones would be worth more, and the little ones would be worth less. And if you couldn't find any seashells anymore, they'd go up in value.
Exactly right. And you know, that's actually how it works. That's what's fascinating. For the main, what was the Books Crypto Club, we've got a WhatsApp group, and every so often I put out a video in there, which is quite an old one now. It's done about 15, 20 years ago, I think it was. And it's about the US financial system and about how the US Federal Reserve works. And it's an incredibly dull and boring film. It's about 3 hours long, I think. But if you actually watch it, and it explains how the federal bank is actually privately owned and not government owned, and that's usually a surprise to people, and then how they make loans available to commercial banks who then loan it out and everything. And you suddenly discover where money comes from. Sam, sorry, were you going to add something on that?
Yeah, I had the exact same argument yesterday. I went around to a friend's house and I was saying, you know, like, I've made X amount. I've times 2 my original investment, you know, which you don't get from banks. And they were trying to tell me that my wife's Turkish, so this person was of Turkish origin. Oh no, you're better off putting your money in sterling. Like, I was like, look, inflation's at 4% this year. Like, it's like they were like, well, you know, like the Turkish lira is at 30% inflation. I said, all right, I get that GBP is less inflationary, but it's still inflationary. Like, you know, it'd be much better off putting your money into Bitcoin, like, et cetera, et cetera. Oh no, and it's gambling, you know. And I said, it's a market.
Oh yeah, gambling. I've had that one. I'm a gambler. I'm a gambler. But I tell you what, I've had some success with lately as well. It's quite interesting. You know, on Coinbase, how you do Coinbase Earn, and then you just watch a video and they give you some money. As people have been doing that. So what I've been doing, because I've been doing that for quite a long time, because they only give you like $3 each time you do it, but it's only like, I answer the quiz without even reading the thing, so 2 seconds work. And then it's not you make money off that, you make money because they then go up. So some of the ones that I bought that I got free for $3 for 3 seconds work, they've now gone up to £100.
Wow.
So yeah, and I've got about 20, or no, that's an exaggeration. I've got about about 12 different coins that I've got $3 worth that have gone up to £50 here, £100 there. So that is worth doing. And the other thing is, I think it's Binance that I joined, and they asked me to do a quick survey, and then they put $100 worth of Amazon shares into my account.
Wow.
Which is quite strange. I was quite surprised about that. I didn't believe they were going to do it, and they did it. So these little things are really fast to do as well.
I think you're right. There used to be a thing that went through a phase of, I think they were called Bitcoin Faucets, which were basically ways of earning Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency. Exactly as you say, sit and watch this video for 5 minutes and we will give you so many Satoshis or something, or answer this quiz and we'll do this, whatever. And you're right that initially the amount that they paid you was very, very low. But if the cryptocurrency goes up in price, then suddenly it's quite an interesting thing. Yeah, I had it where I think I opened an account somewhere where they gave you so many free dollars of, was it XLM? Stellar or something like that. Yeah, and I completely forgot about it. And then 12 months later, you just happen to check the wallet. And it's like, oh, that's interesting.
And you get exposed. What I like about it is I get small amounts of loads of different altcoins that I probably wouldn't bother with normally. So you get exposed to a lot of variety of different altcoins, that some of which might go up. So I quite like doing that.
There was a phase, I saw it a lot in London in particular, if you went to any of the conferences or events, where you had companies who were launching their own projects and they were doing ICOs or STOs, where they'd actually give out free crypto. So they'd give, I used to collect them because they quite often they were on casino chips, and the casino chip would be logoed with whatever the ICO was, and then would have a little private key written on it, which gave you access to the crypto, and then you could download it and all this kind of thing. And again, it was one of these things where it'd be worth maybe $5 at most or something. But if the ICO went well, and in ICO terms, went well could be 10,000 times growth, then all of a sudden this thing that was $5 is worth quite a lot. So definitely worth watching out for. So that's good. Yeah. Rachel, any ideas like that anything where we can just eke away and make things is always worth looking at and sharing as well. So that's good. Thanks for that. Just conscious, just got last 10 minutes. Hasn't time flown? Is it really? Anyone got any particular things they want to mention, ask, learn about, comments? People have been watching Ripple.
I wanted to check about Ripple. Everyone laughs at me because I don't know nothing about Ripple.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I come across is kind of memes about Ripple going to the moon and things like that. I know there's something happening with the SEC court case.
Yeah.
What is that I need to know about Ripple?
I've not been watching it closely enough in order to give an informed comment. I can give you the historical background. That you're right that the SEC has taken Ripple to task, saying when they launched XRP, which is the cryptocurrency, that they use that as a way of doing a securities offering. So effectively they're saying, look, you've done this XRP launch, but you've done it in a way that effectively acts as a share. And if you're doing a share raise, then you need to do it according to the normal IPO filing guidelines, or whatever they are, the Reg 501Ds or whatever type thing. And so they took them to task that they'd done this securities raise without going through the process. And there's been a whole load of court action over a number of months where the Ripple lawyers have done some interesting stuff where they force the SEC to reveal why they've made decisions about why Bitcoin and Ethereum aren't securities. So they're kind of like trying to force them down the, you've used your own precedents to say that Bitcoin and Ethereum aren't securities. And the way that we're using XRP is as a cryptocurrency and as a payments provider, just like Bitcoin and Ethereum. therefore you should apply the same rules, therefore we're not a security raise, blah, 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 blah. And so the Ripple team seems to have been making small but important progress in the court case, but it's gone quiet. I haven't followed it for a couple of weeks to know where they're up to right now. But for you, from a pure play, putting money in, taking money out, and again, this isn't investment advice, blah, 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 blah. What it could mean is that if the court case is unsuccessful against Ripple, then that means that Ripple are then free to play in the space, and they can do it like, which could see the price go up. If, however, the SEC is successful and they deem that it is a securities offering, then it means that any of the remaining exchanges that are currently offering it will withdraw it. So I think a number of the exchanges like Bittrex and Binance and a couple of others realized there was a risk of exposing themselves, that by trading Ripple, they're effectively trading an unlicensed security. So it puts them at risk. So if the court case confirms that it's a security, you're probably going to find several more exchanges will delist it. And as more exchanges delist something, then it gets harder to sell. So it becomes illiquid, and that tends to cause price problems. But yeah, Ripple is actually a whole platform of various things, and XRP is just one of the parts of it. So it's definitely worthwhile. Go and Google and take a look at what the court case is. I've not been following it.
When they initially, was it not? Yeah, I mean, this is so beginners kind of. Pardon me with my lack of knowledge on this. Were they going to be part of kind of payment processing kind of system between the banks or something like that?
So that's exactly their argument. What Ripple are saying is that we're trying to introduce a payment provider that effectively works similar to how Swift works, and Swift is the membership-based banking network that all banks around the world use at the moment. So Ripple are saying, well, here's a 21st century equivalent of that using crypto. Just so it happens, it's our crypto. Oh, and it just so happens that we own an awful lot of it as well.
It's very, very centralized. It's very central. If that whale sells, it's going the price will tank. So, but the other thing about it is that it's the coin with the highest level of education. So the people that have that coin have the highest level of education out of any coin. Yeah. So that was worked out by Coin Bureau. So Coin Bureau makes the best on YouTube. Makes very, very, very good educational videos. He said it's got the highest level of education. So why are the most educated people within the crypto world buying it in volumes?
Is that supposed to be a warning sign that highest educated people are having it? Or the other way?
I think that to me shows, I don't like saying this, but smart money seems to be investing in that.
Yeah, it's interesting. It has been going up quite a lot lately. And I think this is a reflection of how well they think the court action is going. So it could well be people buying into it and that kind of thing. But yeah, I'm not convinced about the clever people know what they're doing with crypto. I sometimes think that
we just heard about the PhD colleagues comment a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I think my comments about PhDs now, I know loads of people who've got quite a few of them, in fact, is that the more highly qualified someone is, the less common sense they have.
I agree. I have zero common sense.
I do know someone who was in a meeting a while ago, and I won't say who it was, but I know someone who was actually in a meeting with a very big technology company once. And I remember him being in the room, and he turned around to everyone else in the room. He said, "I'm really, really sorry, because I realized that I'm actually the lowest qualified person in the room, and I've got 2 PhDs, but unlike the rest of you, I haven't got any Nobel Prizes." So I thought that was quite an interesting one. Folks, I was going to close off at this stage because we're just wrapping up to 8 o'clock. So I hope you've enjoyed being on the call. Hope it's been of interest. Lots of things discussed. to go and look at. World Mobile Token, Cardano, ADA. What were the other ones? Ripple's always worth watching. Bitcoin, Ethereum. So let's see what happens in the next week. And the World Mobile Token one, definitely interesting with it going on to public sale in less than 24 hours. So thanks for coming along. Thanks for joining in. Have a great week. Go and wash your hands and be safe. See ya.
Bye, guys.
Bye.